G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we will be looking at the Transformers the movie G1 reissue of Thundercracker. And this is currently the last, but hopefully not for too long, of the G1 re-coloured, re-released figures. Obviously we've had a look at Starscream, we've looked at Hound. So for the time being, this is the last on the list, unless Hot Rod comes out or they release another figure. In hindsight, you know what? I can't wait to see if they do Megatron and Shockwave and all that. That's gonna be incredible, in my opinion, if that goes that far. So here he is. He is obviously his Blue Jet counterpart. And he does look very pretty. They all look very pretty, but that's only because I'm probably looking in through rose-tinted glasses. But as long as you can admit that the figure is dated and all that, you can voice your opinion. One of the biggest problems, and I'll show you with this, is the nose cone. I don't know if you can see it. It has this huge wedge of plastic, so it feels like that should have been all cut off. But I bet you if I tried to shave that off, I'd end up putting a hole in the nose cone. So I'm not going to do that. Also, I didn't look at the G1 pictures for this time, so I'm assuming that maybe the hands were a little bit more blacker. Obviously, as with Starscream and Hound, the colours were vastly different in G1. Well, not vastly, but a bit different, I'm sure. Obviously not this vibrant and whatnot. So take it for what it is. But as far as I'm aware, unless they changed something on Starscream, apart from things we've discussed in the past, I'm pretty sure they didn't change them with Thundercracker as well. So as we saw in the last one, we do have launchers. And that all doesn't look too bad, but once again, for those of you who had not watched Starscream, I will show you one of my issues with this figure again. But we can get down to some size comparisons. First off, let's bring in MP10. And as I said before, that is a far better way to comparison them instead of just sticking him behind him. So from the top of his head, let's say from the way the camera looks, about the crotch area, and if you go from the intakes or whatever they're called, and just below the bottom of his hip. But we can do one little bit better. We can bring in the Make Toys Thundercracker, their cartoon version of Lightning. And they do both look really, really nice together. So if you'd like to have a look at the review for this figure, you can find it, if I can get my finger in the shot, up here. So there we go. So now we just need a Thundercracker to get that whole trio done. And I have heard that apparently Make Toys are getting close to Make Toys, whichever, is getting close to releasing Thrust and Ramjet. So can't wait for that. But let's do a few accessories first before we get this guy transformed. We do have, and I'm probably grabbing the same one, he does come with Megatron in gun mode, and it works the same way. This is a little bit actually, I knew that was going to happen. We'll take the null race out of the way. Now, I think the thing that gets me with this is it's a square peg. Oh, that went easier in. It is a square peg into a round hole. See how the underside goes. Oh, that pegged on a little bit easier than Starscream. Not enough to make me not worried that I'm going to break it. But and obviously I got two in here. But I'm just having a look. Yep, everything else is pretty much the same way. So you can hold Megatron and pull those out. And just stick that back together. And everything else more or less in there is for robot mode. So let's do articulation. Head can't go up, can't go, well, technically, I suppose it can go up if you want to use a weird ab movement. Head can't go down, you can turn him into a cone head. Can't turn left or right, can't go side to side. You can rotate these wings that lets you rotate his arms, but it's getting actual caught on the fists, so be careful for paint. And that can do a full 360. Can't go out, can't go, no twist at the bicep, no twist at the wrist joint, no bicep bend, no fingers, no anything else like that. We do have a twist in the null ray, which I don't think I showed on Starscream, so there's that. If you want a weird version like they have it on the Big W website or Walmart or wherever this is exclusive for, Big W for me, I think Walmart for America, it has that way for some stupid reason. No waist, no ab crunch, like I said, you've got that if you want to use it. No swivel, no waist rotation, no up in the leg, no back for the leg, no out for the leg, no knee joint because the knee's actually up here, even though that's basically his thigh. We do have toe bend, up and down, if you want to use that. These all come off. You do also have articulation of the wings, which you can, which I don't think I showed in Starscream. If you want, you can actually keep the wings all the way back there, so you have no wings. But it's the Seekers. You're going to have wings on the Seekers. It just looks wonky. The only ones who don't get wings up there are Ramjet and Dirge, and theirs is down here. So there is that. So let's get this guy down to transformation. I'm going to need to unplug these and put them all to the side. We're going to take his hands off. Yes, if this is your first time watching one of these reviews, congratulations. You're reviewing parts for me. And once again, with these tail fins, you see these gaps under here. These goes on either side, on the opposite side for transformation, but for viewing point, I keep them this way so you don't see the gap under there. That's a bit more tighter than Starscream's. Now you can take these off, but I'm not going to this time. And you can take these off, but there's no real need to. Alright, so we're going to twist the wings like so. We're going to flip the head cone up and back, and we're going to bend it in so it's sort of touching under, and then we want to swing all this through until we're clear, and then that can all come up, and that's going to tab into place, and yes, we have head. Then what we want to do is, depending on how, I'll keep flipping that foot up, how tight your arms are, you're going to fold these back. It usually helps one at a time, but if one sort of keeps you from the other, you might just have to pull it out a little bit and tab those in together. Hole in here, tab on there, and as long as everything is lined up properly, that will lock into place. Alright, then we can rotate his wings down. Oh, we don't want to do that yet, we're jumping the gun. We're going to take our tail fins again, and we're going to plug these in, make sure that the gap is on the bottom. And once again, these are pretty much reversed of what I had on the feet originally. Yeah, that feels a lot more secure than, oops, that was my fault, I didn't have it all tabbed all the way in. That feels a lot more secure than Starscream's. Also, there's like a little port here, I don't know, I didn't show in the last one, but yeah, there's a little tab, sort of, what we got? Let's call it a tab. So you got this one, you got this big one, so if you line up, it should sit in, but if anything, you're going to wear that one off. Alright, then we can bring the wings down. And they do have sort of a weird wonky angle thing. It could be just the way that the design originally was when it came out, but there is like these huge gaps here and here. Feet don't go nowhere. So there's that. Now, final step for transformation, we can flip the feet up. Mine are angled. They should be, I think, more straight up and down, but it could be just packaging. Now, if I put this guy down, he's going to get wonky. So we're going to have to go into the parts box. And honestly, I'm thinking of keeping that, especially like for accessories and stuff when I do all the other reviews and stuff. But you plug that into there. So that gives him his ground gear. And I'm just going to toss the null rays into the parts box and get to the piece that I don't like. Also, I might as well toss the hands in there while I'm at it. So these are the missiles. If you haven't seen the Starscream review, this is what I hate. Now, I know partly why they did this. It's for safety concerns, because these are kids' toys, despite the fact that they're more designed for collectors, because these are old toys. You know, kids nowadays would look at these and go, it's a piece of shit. But these are the missiles. And if you put them in just like you did with your null rays, and they're still spring-loaded. But they are huge. And I know I keep saying it. Have a look in the Starscream review right here. And you will see that these missiles are too long, because I literally show the back of the box. And the missiles in the packaging are like this long. Not this long. So if you know what you're doing, I would suggest cutting off about there, where it goes into the gun, cutting it off here, and taking out the remaining plastic and sticking those back together. Now, I don't know how secure that would be, but it would give the null rays, or with the missiles, a much cleaner look. However, I'm not comfortable personally doing that and then damaging these to the point where if I screw them up, and I'm, as much as I can put an eraser in a joint here or there, or put some nail polish to strengthen a joint, I'm not comfortable in myself modifying things to that extent. So if you feel comfortable, go right ahead. That's what I suggest. If you don't, like me, don't do it. So we're going to put our null rays underneath. And that one's backwards. That was smart of me. And then we can take the missiles. They're a little touchy. Lock them into place. Like so. And as long as everything's flat, there is Thundercracker in his jet mode. Very squeaky, and I don't think I've got that angled completely correctly, but there it is. And it is a beautiful looking jet mode. Yes, there's a lot of gaps. It's G1. What are you going to do about it? You know, this is the stuff you grew up, that back in the day, a lot of us who are now YouTubers and whatnot of this stuff grew up with. I never had Thundercracker. I had Starscream. I had Prime, Hot Rod, a number of others. I never had Thundercracker. I hadn't fully gotten into the thing of I want them all. It was just more what my parents could get me. Yeah, so I missed out on this guy in G1, but now I got him reissued G1. But as you can see, like I said, those missiles need to be back here. They're too long. It's honestly ridiculous. Also, I still have not found exactly where you're supposed to plug Megatron into, and I know I'm going to shoot one of the missiles off. I think the closest I came up with was under here somehow, but I don't know. Oh, that might work. Did it? Not really, no. So I might have been able to clip on there, or maybe the outside. No, I feel like I'm going to start breaking things, or at least scratching things. So take that for what you will. So there we go. So let's do another size, at one of our final size comparisons. Here he is with Windblade, very squeaky. And going by the tail fins, he is obviously taller than she is. And I'm going to do this before I shoot them off by accident. One. By the way, that is rubber. So for those of you who want to throw it at your brother, sister, whatever, no, it is rubber. But that is not me endorsing, injuring your siblings. With this, I swear I need to get used to doing this, because I'm just starting to really do this with me Fight With Me vehicles comparison. So there is, he's longer than she is, and it's very close, honestly, for wing width. So yeah, so we'll put her down there, and there we go. So we can get this guy back into robot mode. Doesn't take long, but there is one last bit of articulation I want to get to. You can flick up this cockpit. It's nothing but solid blue, but you can do that. I think I said in the Starscream review, I don't think these guys were intended to be in the Diaclone line. The mech suits, like Optimus and Ratchet and Ironhide was. But I can't verify that because, you know, the thing is, it's got seating. So I can only assume that obviously the pilot was in the chest. And you can still open it in robot mode. So technically, I suppose they could pilot from there. I'm just not sure because you have the likes of Optimus Prime who has a head, but Ratchet and Ironhide had stickers or just a seat. And they're really the only ones I can think of that actually had the seated gimmick. So maybe this guy was meant to be piloted. I'm not 100% sure. I really do have to look up stuff about Diaclone, because I don't quite know as much as I really should. So let's take off the missile, the null rays again. Get your nose. We're going to take out his tires. And we can get this guy back into transformation, and we're going to flip his wings up, and we're going to unplug the tail fins, just so we can put it the opposite way around. Beg my pardon. And we can just basically do that now. So, as I said, this is supposed to be on that side, but for the gap, I just put it on the other. And voila. Oops, I'm already detransforming his head. Not what I want just yet. Like I said, I think that's a lot tighter than Starscream's. Also, just for those who are curious and who decide to go tug and tug, don't do that. I don't think I said it in the Starscream review, but I did with my Starscream. He ended up splitting in half because a friend of mine literally ripped his legs in half when he tried to pull them apart. So don't do that. Alright, so we're going to flip his feet down, and then we're going to flip the nose cones down. So for those of you who are about the, I'm trying to think of how you pronounce it, the Ger Walker mode, there's your Ger Walker mode, I guess. Oh, well, I suppose we can take it one step further. Let's take it one step further. So you can just push his arms out and wrap them around. Like so. Doesn't get stuck, and flip them up. I suppose we can try. We can fiddle with it a little bit. Not perfect, just a little bit. So it's sort of using those back parts. And then of course you put that on, and there's your Ger Walker mode. But looks silly, in my opinion. That stuff's for now, because of the way I've done this, I can't get his wings around the other way. I'll try it this way. So do that. Now that is a Veritech / Macross / Robotech thing. You know, yes, they did it in the show, but I'm sorry, but that's just leave it to the VF fighters, which honestly I would love to have a VF fighter. So then we can untab this, which was nice and tight. Flip the nose back, and we're going to just sort of push it back a little bit, so that way it flips all the way around, and it just gets stopped here by this bit of blue plastic. And then we can flip up that head, and we have Thundercracker's gob all again, and then we can reach into the box of bits, and once again we get his hands. If you put your hands up this way, you'd put them upside down. So slide that on, and basically what it is sort of this bit of plastic here, and that sort of slides over this sort of piece, whatever you want to call it, and just slide up. If it doesn't feel like it's going away, just give it a little push. Yeah, some things you do have to give a little bit of force. I don't like it, but you do have to do it. And of course, we can take our null rays, plug them back in. Actually, you know the one thing I don't think... Oh, you could actually do it. I didn't show this with Starscream because I just thought about it. You can... No. I think it's a bit... Yeah, it's too tight. I was going to say, you could put it in his hand. No, you can't. Just don't. So, plug those back in there. Like so. Make sure his wings are out of the way. What is it with me and putting my null rays back to front? I don't know why I'm doing that. And then, of course, this piece is up to you. You can have it... If you can get it to grip, you can get it that way. I currently have mine pointing this way. So it is up to you how you want to work it. And there is Skywarp back in his robot mode. And what can I say? Yes, he is a recolor of Starscream. He is always a recolor of Starscream. But when you have characters like the Seekers who share the same design, but all they do is change the color, it's the personality of the character that comes through. And even though it doesn't really come through on the toy itself, you can hear how disgruntled and smart ass Thundercracker can be from just nostalgia in general. So take that for what it's worth. But there we go. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe or ring that bell. Leave me a comment. Did you have G1 Thundercracker? And if you did, how long did you keep it for? Do you still have it? Or are you perfectly happy? Well, not perfectly happy. Or have you got a substitute like Make Toys Lightning, or I know Zeta released their versions of the Seekers, but let me know which one you got. But thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.